So what did you start doing there?
I started doing electrical.
That's what
work.
I thought.
Yeah.
With your dad?
Yeah.
And he was working for Central Light and Power?
No, he was
Working
for him on his own then.
Is he subcontracting for some general contractors?
Yeah, he and I started contracting together.
I see. I remember driving down in that area and you saying, yeah, we did the wiring in that house there. And
yeah, the movie theater and a furniture store. And
yeah. So how long did you do that then?
I was out of the service for 16 months. I went back, re-enlisted back in the service on the 5th day of February, 1947.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sent out to Fort Ord, California for processing and an assignment, and then from there I went to Fort Lawton, Washington, and for stage and for shipment to Alaska, and went up to Fairbanks, Alaska.
And Fort Ord, is that in San Francisco area?
No, that's near Monterey.
Okay, a little south of there.
mm-hmm.
So what prompted you to go back into the service then?
Well, our contracting was not making any money because all the electrical manufacturers went on strike.
Hmm.
And we couldn't bid on jobs because we had no assurance that we could buy the electrical materials necessary to complete the jobs.
Hmm.
And some of the jobs that were already under contract, that should have been completed within a specified length of time, some of them was going 6 months over.
Yeah.
Or longer because of the lack of materials.
Yeah.
And being out of the Army, I didn't have funds to tide me over so I could sweat this thing out too long, so I went back to service.
Where were you living at that time when you were working with your dad?
Kenedy.
In an apartment there or something?
No, in a house.
In a house.
Yeah.
So you ended up getting back in the service and going to Alaska, but you didn't go to Alaska, right?
Mm-mm.
Where did you go? Did you stay in Kenedy?
Yeah, I stayed in Kenedy.
In that house?
Mm-hmm.
So, but you had really rough duty up there, didn't you, Dad?
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I'm just joking. Wasn't that? Weren't you in charge of club up there or something?
I went up there as an electrician, and when I got up there, they looking at my records, they found that I'd been a first sergeant for several years during the war, and they wanted talked me into taking over as personnel sergeant major, this newly activated battalion. And I thought, well, I would at least be inside all the time. And for my work, I wouldn't be outside like I might be if I held out for the job as electrician. So I accepted the assignment as a personnel sergeant major.
Mm-hmm. What were you doing? Now, when was this? When was Alan born?
1946.
And this is
47.
You were in Alaska in 47?
Right.
Okay, so he was born in Kenedy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, and then this was while you were an electrician there, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it was shortly after he was born that you went back into the service?
Yeah, he was born in August and I went back in service the following February.
I see. So what were you doing? Just watching the kid while he was up there?
Mm-hmm.
Sending the money back? And
Mm-hmm.
So how long were you in Alaska?
I was only there from, we arrived in early part of May, of 47, and I left the following March. So I was there just over 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
I left there in March 48. The reason I left, it was normally a 2-year tour without dependents.
Yeah.
But anyone that hadn't had 6 months of duty in the active duty in the States from their last overseas assignment were eligible to. That's a regulation that passed at that time. You were eligible to rotate without completing the full tour. So I decided I checked on the quarters situation there, and I was number 88 on the quarters assignment list, and they were building 80, I believe, new sets of quarters there while I was there, but it was going to be they take all of the following summer to complete those. And the trouble at that time too, your quarters, your place on the quarters waiting list was strictly determined by data rank, grade and data rank. Mm-hmm. If anybody came in with a older data rank than you did, that was promoted before you were, they went ahead of you on the list, which we thought unfair. So rather than take a chance of getting one of those quarters that was going to be completed, I just took advantage of the new regulation that came out and came back to the States.
Mm-hmm. And where did you go then?
Well, I went to Fort Dix, came back on 30-day leave, and after that I went to Fort Dix, New Jersey for assignment. It was assigned to the station complement at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where we stayed for 3 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3.5 years.
3.5 years there.
So, and this is in Fayetteville?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is where Dale was born?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he was born at Station Hospital there at Fort Bragg.
Yeah. Then, was it after that you went to Japan?
Yes, after the 3.5 years at Fort Bragg, of course the Korean conflict broke out in 1950, and I went to the Far East. I left in December of 51. And ended up being assigned at Camp Drake, Japan.
Where is this?
That's right out of Tokyo. 15 miles or something like that out of Tokyo. And I was there, I got there in December, and you got there the following, about the 1st of December, wasn't it?
Nope, it was the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, the day after Thanksgiving. So I was there almost a year before she got there. Then we stayed there till we left in July of 1954.
Didn't you meet somebody over there? You meet the Houstons over there?
Yeah.
I met Jim over there. Jim and I met at the NCO club. And Sally and Alice didn't come over till about a year later. Yeah, that was 1952 I met Jim.